How's it going, everybody? Justin here with Berserkers Ballistics, and today we're going to be talking about my first pistol, the Canik TP9SA. Now you might be wondering why I chose the TP9SA as my first pistol, and that's because I did a lot of research and found out that this was actually a pretty good gun for the price. Back in 2022, when I first bought my house, I wanted something that was reliable and I could protect myself and my house with. Luckily, a gun store down the road from me had the Canik TP9SA for sale, so I went home and researched it, and then I bought it because it seemed like a fair price. Now that I've gotten exposed to a little more pistols and I've got to shoot a lot more, would I choose this as a home defense weapon? Probably not. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a great pistol and I absolutely love how it shoots. There's just a few things that the pistol has that I wouldn't consider good for personal defense. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about the gun itself. The overall length of the pistol is 7.5 inches. The barrel itself is a little over 4 inches. The trigger has a 4.5 pound pull, and something that I really like is the trigger guard. It is really wide between the trigger and the guard itself. It makes it easy if you have gloves on, if you wanted to shoot with gloves on. It's really easy to get your finger in there. Right in front of the trigger guard is a rail where you could put a light or a laser. If you guys have any suggestions on lights and lasers, leave them down in the comments below. The overall weight of this is 24 ounces, which is pretty good. I think it has a pretty good weight to it when I shoot. The capacity is 18+1, which is nice. It's a lot of rounds that you can get downrange really fast. When you first get your gun, you're gonna get 2 magazines. You're also gonna get a holster and a bore cleaner, which makes it really easy to clean, especially after a range session. The holster itself is pretty decent. If you have a good belt, like a core belt or another type of tactical belt, it does hold up. I do open carry from time to time just to support the two-way community. It's pretty rugged, doesn't sag or nothing. It's actually a decent holster. Now, with all that said, let's get back to the gun. In the case, you're gonna get another back strap. It's a little different than this one. This back strap is held in place by a retaining pin. It has a pretty good grip on it. The front side of the pistol grip also mimics that as well. The sides have a texture on it as well. You could get it in the palm of your hand pretty good, and it really does stay in place when you're shooting. The mag release also has some texturing on it, which makes it easy to press and release your magazine. I find that pretty helpful for when I'm doing magazine changes. The slide lock as well has some texturing on it. Now, this is a low profile slide lock, which I like. Right here in front of the slide lock and in front of the slide release, there's some texturing. It fits perfectly in my thumb, or my thumb lies perfectly on it. The backside has a striker indicator. It does have a red dot on it. If your gun is cocked, then it will be protruding, and if it's not cocked, then it goes back into itself, rendering it safe. Now, here's why I would say that this isn't a great personal defense or home defense weapon. If you've never seen a TP9 or a TP9SA, you would notice that there's a button here. That is your decocker. When I first got the gun, I thought, oh cool, a decocker, you know, I can put it to safe pretty much without having to pull the trigger or anything like that. But to be honest, after shooting a couple of different guns and realizing that that's kind of useless. Not only does it make it impossible to mill it out for a red dot or anything, it really is kind of just useless. The only thing that it does help with is if you want to take the slide off, you could decock it like that, and then boom, your slide comes out. But imagine if somebody broke into your house or you're on the streets and somebody starts attacking you, they just grab your gun and push that button. Well, guess what? Now your gun is completely useless, really. It's just a weight at that point. To reactivate it, you would have to pull the slide back. Now, if you wanted to shoot competition, this would be a good gun for it. You know, it'd be a budget-friendly competition gun. That's what I would say. Now, the reason why I say that is because it is really accurate. I've heard a lot of people say that anything past 10 meters, this gun is really good. But for close-up, it's not that great. I have shot this at 25 meters, and it's actually a really good gun. If I could throw a red dot sight on here, it'd be amazing. unfortunately, I mean, I can, but it's just a process. The sights on here are pretty decent. They're Warren sights. The front sight does have a dot on it, which makes it kind of easy to get your eyes on target, which is overall your main objective. Now let's talk a little bit about reliability. I've only had a few times where I actually had a stovepipe happen, and that was at the very beginning when I first got my gun. I wasn't too familiar with how to grip it correctly and how to manage recoil as much, but after a little bit of research, I went back out and I started to shoot really well. It never, stovepiped or malfunctioned again, which was awesome. I've done a couple tests at 25 yards and I could group pretty well within a circle about 3 or 4 inches wide, which is pretty good. Let's talk a little bit about accuracy. I've done a couple tests where I shoot at 10 meters and 25 meters, and I haven't really had much of a difference between those two. Once you get your fundamentals down, you get your grip correct and you can manage your recoil a little better, then it becomes a really good gun. Now, would I recommend this as somebody's first gun? Maybe. I would say it's a pretty good gun. I would say it's a good budget gun. But if you don't know how to shoot a gun, maybe this isn't the one for you. I would say go with something maybe a little smaller or something that might fit you a little better. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more like this, go ahead and subscribe. But until next time, stay safe and shoot straight.